So this is a rather neat day at our, just so you're aware, at our 10:30 service, we're going to officially be, I don't know what the official church word is, installing Jerry Green as our official lay reader in the parish, which I think is really exciting. And so Reverend Linda is going to be preaching at that, and I will be meditating this morning on sheep. We had an interesting discussion this week in our reflection group, and there was some musing about sheep, and I've attempted to unlock the mysteries of sheep before, and I'm going to attempt to do so again. Something that I learned in learning about this. Sheep were perhaps the very first animals that were domesticated. Some anthropologists think it might have been 20,000 years ago that we might have first developed a relationship with sheep, back just very close to when we had stopped becoming hunter-gatherers. And so when you think about those earliest stories in the Bible, we might think of two real occupations that people could choose. You could be a farmer and live on the land and grow crops, or you could be a shepherd. And shepherds lived in different places than farmers. The farmers would be in the valleys and in the fields, and they grow their crops, and there might be cattle as well. Shepherds would often be up in the mountains, because you couldn't grow any crops up there, and the sheep could find food. So the shepherds would be off alone. Something else about sheep, the reason why they became perhaps the first domesticated animal is they will follow anything that moves, really. Sheep will, if in a flock, if one sheep decides to wander off, generally all the other sheep will assume that sheep is the leader, and they'll all follow him. So what humans discovered was if they went among a flock of sheep, who are generally very docile and would not bite or anything, and they just started wandering off, the sheep would just follow the shepherd. So I think you can see those early humans saying, well, this is way easier than wandering around hunting deer. We can just have this flock of sheep and care for them, and they'll follow us. Shepherds originally were the ones that would milk the sheep. They live among the sheep. And sheep are about as smart as cows, who are actually kind of smart. So sheep will recognize faces, and sheep eventually will learn their own names. And so when we think about Scripture, which was written in a lot of these stories are very, very ancient. Abraham was a shepherd. Almost all of the prophets were shepherds. David was a shepherd. And thinking about God, the Lord being our shepherd, seems so natural, right? If you think about the Exodus being led out of Egypt, it was the same kind of image, right? We have this flock that is being persecuted and devoured by the wolves in Egypt, finding a shepherd in the Lord. And like a lot of shepherds, sometimes they have to carry buckets of food to get the sheep to come sometimes. And too, in the Exodus, the Lord provided manna. And we wandered, and that's what sheep do. Sheep wander. They don't really have a home so much as they have a flock. And wherever the flock is, that is home. And if a sheep goes astray, they're lost. And when they are returned to the flock, they are home again, no matter where the flock is, whether it's a mountaintop or a valley. How fitting that sheep seem to be a description of the people of Israel, and we sometimes feel like sheep ourselves, yearning for the shepherd. So I'm going to read Psalm 23 again. And I'd like you to meditate on, I don't know why, whenever I hear Psalm 23, for some reason I never imagine myself being like one of these ancient sheep, but that's exactly what this psalm is calling us to imagine. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures and leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord my whole life long. That last line is profound if you think about the whole psalm. We're following God. And then finally, there is something that follows us: goodness and mercy. I invite you to welcome the Lord as your shepherd into your life. Amen.